In this lesson, we will be talking about functions, composite functions, and inverse functions. So to get us started, let us consider the sum. Okay, first of all, we have a function, and a function is like this: f of x, where this is always the domain of the function. That is the domain of the function. And a function will oftenly a function will be set up like this. So f of x is equal to, say, 3x plus 1. 3x plus 1 in this case is 3x plus 1 is the definition of the function. In this case, 3x plus 1 would be the definition of this function. And so, let's say they tell us to solve a sum like f of 2. So the way we'll go about it is, so let's say with the information above, solve f of 2. So basically what you do is, as you can see, we've replaced x with 2. So basically x is equivalent to 2. And so since x is equivalent to 2, we plug in 2 to this expression. 3 times 2 plus 1 is equivalent to 6 plus 1, and so is equivalent to 7. That's how you go about it. You have the domain of the function, 2 being the domain of the function. Then you input that 2 into the definition of the function, a definition that has x as its variable. So let's go on to the second question with better explanation. And so now let's consider the sum. Say f of x is equivalent to negative x squared plus 6x minus 11, and they tell us to find the f of 2. With the same logic, when we apply the same logic, x is equivalent to 2, and so we're plugging into each of these x's. So negative x squared plus 6x minus 11, that becomes 2 squared plus 6 into 2 minus 11. 2 squared is 4, and so that's negative 4. That's negative 4 plus 12 minus 11, that becomes negative 4 plus 12 minus 11 is 1, which gives you the answer negative 3. So let's also consider another question, or what can be done is, so now with the same logic used, try solve f of 12. With the same logic used, let's try solve the f of 12. So is there any way you guys would know how to go about it? And if so, you can pause the video and try it out yourself. Okay, so basically x is equivalent to 12, and so we input in the 12 for the x. So That's 12 squared plus 6 into 12 minus 11. 12 squared is 12 times 12, that's 4, 2, 2, 1, 4, 4, 1. It's equivalent to negative 144 plus 6 times 12, giving you 72 minus 11. 72 minus 11 is the same as 61. So 72 minus 11 is equivalent to 61, and so negative 144 plus 61 is the same as 144 minus 61, and so 4 minus 1 is 3, 1 becomes 0, that's 14, and 14 minus 6 will give you an answer of 8. Note that it was a negative, and so the answer is negative 83. That's how you go about it. Now let's try with the same logic again, with the same logic used again. Try solve this one. It's way trickier, but that's the fun of it, I guess. With the same logic again, try solve the f of t, and you can feel free to pause the video. Alright, so x is equivalent to t, and so we are plugging in t into every part of the equation. So negative t squared, or negative, and then that's t squared plus 6 into t minus 11. With that, t has the exponent 1, and so you're multiplying the 2 times 1 because of the law of exponents, and so you have negative t squared plus 6t minus 11. That's the answer of the question. Alright, again with the same logic, let's try solve. Let's say the domain is let's say the domain, as the domain you have the f of t minus 3, f of t minus 3. So with this, you plug in, so x is equivalent to t minus 3. You're plugging in t minus 3 for every part of this equation. So you have negative t minus 3, you have negative t minus 3 squared plus 6 into t minus 3 minus 11. Alright, so with this, we will solve for t minus 3 squared first. T minus 3 squared becomes t minus 3 and t minus 3. We can fully simplify it and solve it. So that becomes t squared minus 3t minus 3t plus 9. As you guys can see, I've multiplied each of these terms by each other, and so negative 3t minus negative 3t becomes negative 9t. That's t squared minus 9t plus 9. This becomes negative because remember we are yet considering that equation. That becomes negative t squared minus 9t plus 9. We expand this plus 6t minus 18 minus 11. We have this expression over here, and our job is to simplify it. That becomes negative t squared minus 9t plus 6t plus 9 minus 18 minus 11. This becomes, I'll write the answer in a different color. That becomes negative t squared minus, so negative 90 plus 60 gives you negative 3t minus 3t plus, first plus 9 minus, so negative 18 minus 11 gives you negative 29, and then 9 minus 29, positive 9 minus 29 gives you an answer of negative 38. So that becomes t squared minus 3t minus 28. That will be the answer. Just like so. Alright. So let's try out the last one, and you guys, I believe you guys should do this yourself. I move that there. Okay. So let's let's consider this. F of x is equivalent, sorry, not f of x, f of x minus 3 actually. F of x minus 3. So this is what we will do. Now that becomes negative x minus 3 squared plus 6 into negative x minus 3. Not negative x only. Into x minus 3 minus 11. X minus 3, x minus 3, and that's x minus 3 times x minus 3. You get x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus 9. That's x squared minus 9x plus 9. Now you get we expand this and we would get 6x minus 18. So we get x squared minus 9x plus 9 plus 6x minus 18 minus 11. This is actually, that's x minus 9x plus 9. So we gather the like terms. X minus 9x plus 6x plus 9 minus 18 minus 11. You get x minus 3x plus 9 minus 18. You get 9 minus 18 is equivalent to negative 9 plus negative 9, just to avoid confusion, and just do x, and just do x minus 9 minus 11. You get x minus 3x minus 11 plus 9. 11 plus 9 gives you 20. That's minus 20. Negative 20. And so this is the answer. Yes, that is the answer. Now we can move on to composite functions. So composite functions, fun fact, are not really a fun fact. They are also at times referred to as function composition. And so the function compositions, this is how they normally look. It's like this. So that's the same as f of g of x, which is just like that. That's how it is. And first, let's consider this. Let's say the f of x is equivalent to 3x plus 1, and the g of x is equivalent to 5 plus x. So with this in mind, let's try to solve for f of g of 2. Alright, so first of all, we have to solve for f of g of 2. We can start by solving for g of 2 first. g of 2 is the same as g of x. No, it's just that 2, just as x is replaced by 2, and so x is equivalent to 2 in this case. Since g of x is equivalent to 5 plus x, and x is equivalent to 2, g of 2 would be equivalent to g of 2 would be equivalent to 5 plus 2, which is equivalent to 7, and so g of 2 is equivalent to 7. Now that we have gotten this, we can solve. So for this part, we'll just say f of 7. As you can see, we've changed the f of g of x. So they told us to find f of g of 2, and the g of 2 was solved, and so it's replaced by 7, since 7 was the answer for the g of 2. Now we solve for f of 7. Alright, so since f of x is equivalent to 3x plus 1, f of 7 would be equivalent to 3 times 7 plus 1. This is the same as 21 plus 1, which is the same as 22. And so the final answer to this is 22. So we say the f of g of 2, the f of g of 2 is equivalent to 21. No, not 21, 22, sorry, 22. And so with that logic in mind, let's try to solve for the following sum, or equations per se. Alright, so let's say we have f of g of 5. You guys can feel free and pause the video to solve this. Alright, so we know that the f of g of 5 is also the same as the f of g of 5 in this format, and let's say in the sum, in that same question, they've told us solve the f of g of 5 when f of x is equivalent to 3x, when f of x is equivalent to 3x squared plus x plus 10, and g of x is equivalent to 1 minus 20x. So with this, we can say that the f of g of 5 is equivalent to the f of g of 5 in this format, and g of x is equivalent to 1 minus 20x. We are solving for g of 5 first, and so g of 5 would be equivalent to 1 minus 20 times 5. 20 times 5 is equivalent to 100, and that's a 1 minus 100, which is equivalent to negative 99. Now with this, we will be solving so since the g of 5 is equivalent to negative 99, that becomes f of negative 99. So we are plugging in 99 for x. That's 3 into 99 squared, negative 99 squared, plus negative 99 plus 10. That's the same as, so 99 times 99, 9 times 9 is equivalent to 81. 9 times 9 is equivalent to 81 again. That becomes 89. 9 times 9 is equivalent to 81. 9 times 9 is equivalent to 81. 81 plus 8 gives you 89. 1, 10, 8 plus 9 is 17. That becomes 18. That's 9. You get 9,801. Alright, so we've gotten 9,801. Now 9,000, so it's 3 into 9,801 plus, sorry, not plus, since it's a negative 99, I can write it as negative 99 plus 10. in the final stages of solving this, this becomes 9801 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3, 0, 24. 3 times 9 is 27, and that becomes 29. That's 29,403. 29,403 minus 99 plus 10. 29,403 minus 89, because we are factoring that in, right? Now we can finally solve for it. 29,403 minus 89. So that becomes 3, 10, 9, 13. 13 minus 9 becomes 4. That's 1, 3, 9, 2. The final answer is 29,314. Final answer is 29,314. And that's basically the main way as to how you go about solving composite functions. And last but definitely not the least, on the list is finally the inverse functions. These are the inverse functions. Now an inverse function is always represented like this. Now this is not f to the power of -1, it's the inverse of f of x, right? So let's say f of x is equivalent to 3x plus 1, the basic example, and we are told to find the inverse of f of x. Now f of x is equivalent to y. We always say that f of x is equivalent to y. Y is just f of x in a fancy manner. So that is y is equivalent to 3x plus 1. Note that we changed f of x with y. We changed the x and the y values. So x is equal to 3y plus 1. We switch them. And now basically what you have to do is just solve for y. You just solve for y. So 3y is equivalent to x minus 1 and y is equivalent to x minus 1 over 3. So the inverse function of f of x is equivalent to x minus 1 over 3. So with that logic in mind, let's try get the inverse function of a sum. So given f of x is equivalent to 3x minus 2, find the inverse function of x. So basically what you do is say f of x is equivalent to y, and so y is equivalent to 3x minus 2. Switch the x and the y values, and so you get x is equal to 3y minus 2. 3y minus 2 is equivalent to x, and so 3y is equivalent to x plus 2, and y is equivalent to x plus 2 over 3. Now we can represent our answer as the inverse of x is equivalent to x plus 2 over 3, and that answer is indeed correct, and so is the working. So that's correct, that's correct, that's correct, that's correct, and yeah. Another example we have is say we have a question like the g of x is equivalent to the square root of x minus 3. Find the inverse function of x. Same logic applies. G of x, so this part, the domain part, is always equivalent to y. So g of x is equivalent to y is equivalent to the square root of x minus 3. Switch x and y. X is equivalent to y minus 3. Solve for y. Square root of y minus 3 is equivalent to x. Since the square root of y minus 3 is equivalent to x, square both sides to cancel the square root. You get y minus 3 is equivalent to x squared, and so y is equivalent to x squared plus 3. And that being our final answer. That is our final answer. And that is it for today. Hope you understood. Bye.